welcome to another episode of Deep True Crime. I'm Manny Rodriguez. Thank you for being here today. At the end of the day, my goal is to help you stay on top of the news around true crime that you may be interested in, because here's the truth. There's a lot going on out there. And my goal is to help you be aware of what people are capable of. Let's go ahead and get started. We don't have all day, right? The last story I want to share, suicide or murder. And so this recently came up as well. And so I appreciate this law and crime because, I want to stay on top of the news. And I'm a big fan of Dan Abrams, who was doing, Live PD, and he does a couple other shows. I'm a big fan, so I really like to follow this. But another story that hit the wave this weekend. So after 7 years, the husband is now being charged with his wife's death. The husband is now being charged with his wife's death after 7 years because it was originally ruled a suicide. Crazy, right? It was originally ruled a suicide. So 7 years ago, the death of Megan Ducote Parra was ruled a suicide, and now her husband faces murder charges and more. Wow, right? And so, again, as you're kind of going back to the Gabby Petito, they go on a long trip, you go with someone you love, and who would have think that they were capable of doing this? And this also goes back to more domestic violence. But this was first ruled a suicide, which is creepy on its own. And so the 29-year-old mother of two died of a gunshot wound on June 28th in 2014 in her home in Louisiana. And so at first they thought that she had died by suicide. But now the husband faces murder charges because they have more on this. And so not only is he facing murder charges, but he's also facing obstruction of justice charges related to this investigation. Because obviously at first he was saying the wrong thing, okay? And so now he's 37 years old now. He's been indicted by a grand jury and charged with second-degree murder and obstruction of justice. According to the indictment, Parra did intentionally discharge a firearm at or near Megan Ducote Parra with the intent to kill or commit great bodily harm. He also tampered with evidence with the specific intent of distorting the results of any criminal investigation, meaning that he arranged for this to look like a suicide. The obstruction complaint arises out of the initial determination that Megan Ducote Parra died of suicide in Louisiana. So, show you this. So this was like the memorial. This was the memorial at the time. And so this was the memorial that she passed away at her home on Saturday, June 28, 2014. She is survived by her husband, who is now looking to be the killer. And so, 29 years old. 29 years old. She still had so much life to live and so much time to give her children. And she was taken way too soon because of this coward. Allegedly, this coward. And so now we know it does not look like a suicide. Looks like she was murdered. And so now we'll wait to see what comes out of this. And I will definitely keep you updated if I can. And by the time this is all coming to fruition. So hopefully they get him to admit. They can stay away from the courts and have this whole drawn out charge thing. Or, just admit it and do your time. Hopefully you never see the light of day again, if he is convicted of this. But right now, come on. 7 years later, they got some good evidence on him. They got some good evidence on him. My friends, this has been another episode of Deep True Crime. Thank you for being a part of this today. Let me know in the comments what you think. Which story was the hardest one for you to hear? Which story was the hardest one for you to hear? And what do you think about these stories? Let me know in the comments. I'm Manny Rodriguez. Thank you for being a part of this. And I'm sorry if you noticed that little. I'm Manny Rodriguez. Thank you for being a part of this. And I look forward to continue serving you with deep true crime as we explore what goes on in these cases and sometimes in their own minds. I'll never understand. But those are the 4 stories. The Gabby Petito update. She died a violent death, 17, and kills parents, suicide or murder. Thank you for being a part of this journey today. I look forward to serving you again. Peace. Have a great day.